This car, which is as shiny as those patent leather shoes that you wanted so much to wear to a birthday party when you were 6 years old, is the Renault Zoe Iconic. Now, it's a good name really, because the Renault Zoe EV has been around for 10 years now and itself is a classic of our EV world. But when it first launched 10 years ago, in the real world, it had barely 100 miles of range. Actually, you know, they said, of course, it had more. This one has 245 miles of range. That's not real world, so obviously you're going to have to come down a bit. And this one, this model in particular, is really interesting because it can rapid charge. The only thing is, and this is a mite inconvenient, when you want to charge, whether it's rapid or otherwise, you actually have to come back into the car and press a button, and it goes through a whole palaver before it opens the charging portal. So here's your charging portal, and like I said, rapid charging is not standard necessarily on the Renault Zoe, so that's really interesting in of itself. If you've got your home charger, a 9-hour 25 is what they're saying for a regular kind of fill up, which isn't abnormal. But what's interesting, it can rapid charge, but it can only take up to 50 kilowatts per hour. So it's a pretty affordable car when you think of some of the prices of EVs. It's a 5-seater, 5-door hatchback, and it's coming in around 30 to 33 grand. So it's not too bad, and it's really nice and compact as well. They've got some nice design features, like look, this little door handle makes it all seem nice and sleek. LED headlights are standard, alloy wheels are standard, and when I say compact, the length is 4 meters. When you think of smart cars coming in at just under 3 meters, it's not far off. So if you're thinking, I need a car that I can park really easily because there's minimal parking where I am, then this wouldn't be a bad bet actually. Boot-wise, it's actually surprisingly nice because it's deep. So you've got quite a lot of room in the boot. And of course you can get the seats down, so you've got even more room. But this depth means you've got 338 litres. Now the Ford Fiesta is 311 litres if you want to compare it. Because of that depth, it's just got that little bit more room. Right, the back. My boys, as we know, are massive and they'd have a good old moan, but actually it's perfectly fine size-wise. And it depends, sometimes you never even use the back if you haven't got kids, but if you have, it's got the standard safety fixings for car seats. And the only other thing worth mentioning at this point, when we're talking about safety, is that the Renault Zoe, when it was first launched, got an NCAP rating of 5 stars. Now, it has an NCAP rating of 0, and that is worth discussing. It's mainly because they've taken out the side airbags. It's also because NCAP have changed their criteria 5 times. That was 10 years ago, let's face it. And Renault will say, but we've added in lots of digital safety features. So, you know, your emergency braking, your pedestrian and cyclist alert, that kind of digital feature has been added in. So it's still a perfectly safe car. So let's leave this dog walking Central Park and take it for a spin. This apparently is a one-touch selector. This thing, I have no idea what that means. So there's reverse. What I am not, here's the thing I'm not so keen on, right? When you put it down into drive, it doesn't seem to automatically go into regenerative braking. You have to flick it and make a decision. Do you want it just normal driving or do you want it regenerative braking? Well, frankly, I want it regenerative braking almost all the time, because why wouldn't you? I can change the position of the steering wheel, which I do like to do. I quite like a low steering wheel. There you go, see? That's quite comfy. And, Look, I've not been on a long journey, but it feels like a perfectly comfortable car to me. The seats I am sitting on are recycled fibre. It's coping with these massive potholes really well. We're all no stranger to potholes these days, are we? And I like the inside. I like it because it's really simple. Some reviewers have had a real problem with the fact that the volume control is on a stick just behind the steering wheel here. I have no problem with that at all. It's really easy to find. I guess if you didn't know where it was, it would be a bit difficult, but you know, it's easy to find without taking your eyes off the road, and I like that. You mentioned potholes, right? Highway maintenance. Highway maintenance right there. It wouldn't be fair of me to just leave you on the potholes without mentioning the fact that there is a highway maintenance van. No one's doing anything, but there is a highway maintenance van there, okay? Right, it's fair. Storage. Other reviewers are not impressed with the amount of storage, but you know what? It's a small, compact car. You want tons of storage, you're gonna have to buy a bigger car. Stop your whinging. There's perfectly enough. There's a bit in the seats. There's a nice place for you to pop your phone and it can go on charge. 2 cup holders, 4 USB chargers, a place for your keys, and a small glove box. What more do you need? Plus, a really quite handy big-sized boot. It's got a nice chunky little screen, which I really like actually. And there's, you know, the visuals are good. So I can keep an eye on my regenerative braking. Worth saying also that the regen braking on this car is quite light. There's only one setting. And it's a 52 kilowatt battery. Look, there's a picture of it. Apparently there's a pattern on the roof that represents something electrical. I mean, 10 out of 10 for thoughtfulness, I guess. So what's it like to drive? Nice. It's a really easy car to drive. It doesn't feel, you know, clunky or basic actually. You know how the steering wheel matters quite a bit, doesn't it? The shape of the steering wheel makes you feel either that you're in quite an expensive car or not. The steering wheel feels really good. It's little things like that where they've put in the time and money that makes it feel like you're driving a really nice car. Even though it is compact, even though it is basic in other ways. So I really like it. It's a great little car. One more vital thing to mention, and probably the most important consideration of all, heated seats and a heated steering wheel come as standard. They are thoughtful. Now, if, like me, you enjoy the Renault Zoe and would like to grab a Renault Zoe, you need to be quick because they're stopping production at the end of this year. And stand by, because next year we'll see the return of the Renault 5, but the EV version. So all I have to do now is hand the keys back and say thank you very much to Hendy for letting us do a test drive in this lovely Renault Zoe. If I can find the door handle.